So we are up to Siman Lamed Vav. The Mechaber says, "Tzarich ledaktik b'ksivas ha'oisius." You have to be careful when you're writing the letters. Shlei tishtana tzura shum echas. You have to make sure that the tzura is not changed, meaning that the letter is written the way it's supposed to be. That means twofold. That means that the letter cannot look like a different letter, and it also means that there cannot be a break in the letter, meaning the aleph has to be connected. The two arms have to be connected to the center pole. Shum achas mehen v'loy tidma la'acheres, and the letters cannot resemble other letters. The Mishnah Berurah explains. The Mishnah Berurah says, "Hu adin mishtana ois mitzurasa achar ksiva." By the way, in addition, you have to be careful not just when you wrote it. You have to make sure that there was no change afterwards. You can write it properly, and then it gets scratched out. Then it doesn't help you either. And the Mishnah Berurah then continues, "Afil mshina tzura rak b'mitzvah ois." Even if only part of the letter is off, meaning let's say 75% of the aleph is proper, but the bottom corner is doesn't look like the yud that it's supposed to, then it's not kosher either. Fine. Or if parts of the letters are touching each other, also a problem. Now the Rama adds, "Ulechachila yichta b'ksiva tama." It's proper to write with a ksiva tama. Ksiva tama means a nice ksav ashuris, which is the calligraphy that is used by the standard Seif Torah. Meaning, technically, if you were to just write stick letters of a shin, it's technically kosher, but it's not the ksiva tama. It should be written properly with a beautiful calligraphy. If you don't write it with the calligraphy, it's still kosher, but it's not mahudar. It's missing that beauty of a Sefer Torah. The Mishnah Berurah continues, Ksiva tama v'shleima b'tmunas ha'ofius. It should be the way the Seifrim learn with the calligraphy of the Seifrim. When the Ramah says that if you do not use the calligraphy, it's kosher, it means you wrote the proper letter, and it looks like a shin. But they have like a picture. It's like a stick version of the shin. It's not the proper shin. That's kosher. But if you don't write it properly at all, then it's obviously a problem. The Rabbi gives a rule. The Rabbi gives a rule, and that is that if something is not, it's a concept that's not sourced in Gemara, if you don't do it, it's still kosher. If it's from the Gemara and you don't do it, it's puzzle. But if you have a chumrah, like the calligraphy, the Gemara never says it has to be written with that form of the calligraphy. Because it's not sourced in the Gemara, if you didn't do it, it's still kosher. That's the sheet of the Rabbi Yehuda. And then the Mishnah Berurah says, in order for the reader to understand a lichtav l'chachila, how is it the letter supposed to be formed properly, l'chachila? And within the rules of writing, what is a chumrah, what is meker adin, what is essential that if you don't do it, you're not yotza. I spent the time writing a special kuntris. So he said I wrote a special kuntris in the end of this siman. Based on the Beis Yosef, going through each letter, and I called it Mishnah Sasofrim that we'll go through Bezos Hashem. Okay, the Mechaber writes in Beis, we'll do Beis and then we'll stop. We'll do tomorrow Gimel. Beis is Kol Ois Sricha Liyos Goylem Echad. All the letters have to be complete, meaning it could look like an aleph, but if the legs are not connected, that's a problem. Lakach tzarich b'nekuda shala aleph she kamin yud u'b'nekuda shetachteha. All the parts of the letters have to be connected. You can have the three parts of the aleph is the middle bar and the yud on the top right and the top left. He says if they're not touching, then it's a problem. Except for the hay and the kuf, you don't want them to touch. You want the hanging letters, the hanging leg of the hay and the kuf to not touch. On the contrary, those if they touch, it's puzzle. Mishnah Berurah then adds a point that we had before, if you remember. If the letters are not connected, having a kid read it doesn't help. The whole concept of a kid reading it helping is where it's a proper letter, but it looks like a different letter. So you wrote the resh in a way that it kind of looks like a dalet. Then, okay, you wrote a short zayin, a long zayin, so it kind of looks like an ender nun. Okay, that's when you have a kid reading it. But if you write the aleph without connecting the hand to the middle bar, what's reading it going to do? It doesn't help you. That's therefore he says having a child won't read this, won't help at all. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll pick it up tomorrow, Bez Hashem, by the concept of tagin. All right, we'll stop here.